Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that is back for a second week. Some start to the summer break, that is. Well, it looks like Vincent Kompany is on his way. There is an old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. And since the 15th of April 2022, when Sean Dyche was sacked, Burnley fans have done nothing else but live in interesting times. Now, if you had come to me and said that Bayern Munich are poaching the Burnley manager, first off, that is just an incredible phrase to actually hear. Bayern Munich, the most successful team in Germany, are poaching the Burnley manager. That is the stuff of fantasy. It's the stuff of bad football manager games. And it's not actually the full truth. Because the full truth is actually even more ridiculous than that. Bayern Munich are poaching the Burnley manager despite the fact that they just got relegated with 24 points. And it feels like football has just kind of lost its mind a little bit. But we appear to have dropped into this kind of weird twilight zone where anything goes. Anything goes in football and anything goes in Burnley FC, in the life of Burnley FC. And losing the manager, Vincent Kompany, is a bit of a surprise. But losing him to, like I say, Bayern Munich is beyond what anyone would have guessed. And one of the things I've been trying to do is kind of think about it from Kompany's perspective. And Rich Steele of the No Nay Never podcast has a phrase that he's used a few times where he's referred to Kompany as a sort of a CV manager, a manager who is using Burnley to pad out his CV. Now, I don't know whether Rich is kind of meaning that in a negative way or whatever, but I actually don't particularly have a problem with that for a couple of reasons. One is, the main one, is that outside of 3 or 4 teams in each division, in each league, in top flight football, everyone is a CV manager. Because there are only 4 teams, tops, that can win anything in any of the major leagues. There's maybe 3 in Spain, there's 1, maybe 2 occasionally in France. There are 3, maybe 4 in Germany. And there are 4 in England. 6 if you count Manchester United and Chelsea, but would you really put money on Manchester United or Chelsea winning a trophy at the end of a season? And I'm saying that with Man United in the FA Cup final tomorrow. So the chances of actually winning a trophy are very, very few and far between. Everyone else is managing for their CV, is managing to show other clubs what they can do. This is the second thing. If managing the CV, Kompany is managing his CV, if you look at what he did in the Championship, then that is as good as you can get. That is as good a result as you can possibly have. And that brings me on to another thing. He doesn't want to have a crack at the Championship again. Okay, fair enough. And if we look at why that might be, well, if you think about it, he did 101 points, a 10-game winning streak, 27 games unbeaten, scored an incredible amount of goals and won the Championship on the pitch of the greatest rivals this club has. Anything that is less than that is actually a step backwards. And to be honest, you know how some Burnley fans are. You can imagine, I'll not have to name the Twitter accounts that would criticise him for not repeating that kind of record when it comes to the Championship. So in terms of Vinny's CV, he's probably done what he can at Burnley in terms of the Championship. Yes, he would basically be waiting around for a year to go back up. And Bayern Munich have come knocking on the door. So from that point of view, you can kind of understand why. But you can't really understand it from Bayern's point of view. Basically, VK is at best their 7th choice. Their 7th choice on the list. And the other thing as well is, because he's the 7th choice, that means there are 6 other managers at least that they wanted beforehand, and that's before you get to people like De Zerbi, Pochettino, let's throw names out there, Klopp and Xavi. So maybe VK is thinking, I've got an opportunity here to go to Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich are thinking, well, he'll do for a year. What's the expectation? And then basically they jettison him for somebody else. There's so much risk on the part of Vincent Kompany with this one that he just is effectively a stopgap in Munich for one season until who they really want takes the job. But how do I feel as a Burnley fan? How do I feel about it? And I know it's very easy to kind of sit here and do a YouTube video or go on Twitter or, you know, do something on YouTube where it's just basically, you know, a huge emotional outburst, you know. But I can't pretend to be angry. I can't pretend to be fuming. I can't pretend to be screaming and ranting and raving like Mark Goldbridge pretends to do. And I kind of thought about it. I'm a little bit disappointed, but actually, you know what? I'm just tired. I'm tired of the season. I'm tired of the dealing with this season, of which Vincent Kompany has been a large contributor to that season. That's made me tired. And my reaction, and I never thought I'd be saying this, especially a year ago, this time last year, but my reaction is, meh. My actual general feeling is, whatever, it's just another day. It's another day in the Twilight Zone. It's another day in interesting times. Your manager has just been stolen or tempted away by Bayern Munich. Okay, that's the latest. I'm just, you know, I'm slightly disappointed, but I'm also like, okay, at least it's now. At least we know 3 months in advance of a season. He goes off with, you know, fairly best wishes, you know, good luck, fair enough, thanks for what you did. You gave us the most memorable season you could possibly have, with incredible football, incredible highlights. And then you followed it up with a big pile of meh, a big pile of whatever, and a big pile of... And, okay, now you're off to Bayern Munich, you know, at least... That's the other thing, at least he's going off to somewhere else, you know, another country where, you know, we're not playing against him this year. He's still not, you know, being hyped up within the Premier League. I'm just kind of like tired. I'm tired of being in interesting times. I'm tired of looking at the news for Burnley FC and just going, oh God, what now? That's where it kind of comes to. That's where I'm at the moment. I said in the previous video, I just want some calm over this season, off the off season, and I'm not sure whether we're going to get it now. I'm not going to throw names out there either. I've got some ideas in my head who I would like to see, but again, it just comes down to a type. I'd like to see a similar type to VK, a young, ambitious, even though it's hitters, a young, ambitious manager who plays good progressive football. He's got the squad there. This is an incredibly attractive job for a manager. Alan Pace is going to have a pile of CVs 6 foot thick to go through, because everybody is going to want that job in the Championship. But speaking of Alan Pace, it also feels like, not Alan Pace in person or whatever, it feels like Burnley have been caught on the hop twice now under ALK. I mentioned Chris Wood in the earlier video this week, and it seemed like we were caught by surprise with Chris Wood wanting to leave for Newcastle. And you will never ever persuade me that that transfer was anything other than a business deal. It was a deliberate move by Newcastle to damage a potential relegation rival, and there is nothing that we could do about it. It is in a similar way to this, that the big club is coming in and taking away one of our major assets, and there ain't a damn thing we can do about it. The difference is that Chris Wood had a release clause in his contract, so there was nothing we could do to stop it. Theoretically, we could stop this one, but why the heck would we when it's so obvious that VK wants to go, and he has delivered the season that he has. But I kind of want Burnley to remember that actually we swim in a tank of sharks because we are also a shark. We're not the biggest shark in the tank when it comes to the Premier League, but we are sharks. We're not a little fish, we're still a shark. And I think that Burnley have to wise up that this kind of stuff is what happens in football. That this kind of thing is not supposed to be as much of a bolt out of the blue as it actually turns out to be, or it feels like it has been. We have to start remembering that we're a shark, and we have to start treating football a bit more like that, because we're sometimes a little too nice, we're sometimes a little too humble, we're sometimes a little too, oh well, we're just little Burnley. It was like that under Garlic, it was like that under Deitch, and it was incredibly frustrating under Deitch. And it feels like it's been a little bit like that under AOK. And it's like, can we stop being little fish when we're in a shark tank and start doing what is best for Burnley Football Club without actually thinking about what makes us popular. So that's basically it for this week. Hopefully that's it for this week. Like I say, it'll probably be announced probably Monday or whatever. By the rumours, the compensation's been agreed. It sounds like actually Clarence have played hardball on the compensation. He got the thick end of 20 million quid, which is a reasonable return, I think, and about the best result we could possibly have. VK's gone, his assistant's gone, his goalie coach is gone. Craig Bellamy's said he's not going to Bayern, but Mike Jackson unfortunately has gone. The set piece coach, well, I'd have driven him to Munich myself. But we see what happens next. But can we please just get it done fairly quickly, get it done swiftly, get it done smoothly. Make the right choice, obviously. Not the first choice, just make the right choice. And can we just have a bit of peace and quiet for a while? Hope the Clarence.